everybody, this is Bob Iacchino along with Mike Arnold from Path Trading Partners for your weekend Path Chat, a preview of next week in the FX markets. So let's quickly go over the calendar, and then I just want to show you something really quick on this Euro-US dollar chart before I turn it over to Mike. Interesting week last week, but I just want to focus really on what's up and coming. So this is Sunday morning, and we don't have anything really important, not hugely important, on the horizon for this evening in terms of economic news. We do have the Japanese merchandise trade balance expected to be down 625 billion yen for January. The adjusted merchandise trade balance, which is the exact same number just with seasonal adjustments in it, year over year for January, is actually expected to be positive 275.5 billion yen. We also have the UK's right move housing prices year over year number for February, which is expected to be up 2.8%. Monday, again, everything stays sort of in the medium category. We do have Eurozone consumer confidence that'll come out at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We have the Royal Bank of Australia's February meeting minutes. That'll come out at about 6:30 Eastern time. And then we have the All Industry Active Index month over month for Japan, which is again expected to be a little bit lower, down 0.2%. Going into Tuesday, we finally have a couple of what I would consider to be high value economic news releases, scheduled economic news releases. We do have Germany's Market Services PMI, which is expected 53.6. along with their composite PMI, which is expected 54.8. They're measured the same way as the US PMI. A number above 50 indicates growth. We've also got Eurozone composite and services PMI. The composite expected to be 54.4 and the services expected to be 53.7. And I'll go over these day to day as we do our morning FX Path Chats. We also have the Bank of England Governor Mark Carney, who's speaking in the UK Parliament. That'll be much watched. Then we've got US manufacturing PMI and services PMI. The manufacturing PMI expected 55.2 and the services PMI expected 55.8. Remember, we had that really hot Philly Fed number, which was almost triple the previous number for February. We had that come out this week. We've also got the Australian Wage Cost Index year over year. And then we've got the Royal Bank of Australia's Philip Lowe. He's giving a speech in Sydney. That won't be watched as much as what he's doing later in the week, which I'll mention in a second. Wednesday, we've got the UK's Gross Domestic Product. We've also got Eurozone Consumer Price Index month over month and year over year. UK's Gross Domestic Product is expected to be up 0.6. That's quarter over quarter. The year over year is expected to be 2.2. And then the Consumer Price Index for the Eurozone month over month is expected to be down 0.8. Year over year is expected to be up 1.8. So we're going to watch those very closely when those come out. Also, the Core Price Index year over year is expected to be slightly up at 0.9. Both of those last two figures I mentioned would match the previous releases to the number. We've also got U.S. existing home sales coming out. We've got Canadian retail sales, which are supposed to be unchanged. U.S. existing home sales is supposed to be up 1.1. Then we've got the U.S. FOMC meeting minutes released for February. That's very high value. That'll come out at about 1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Another thing of interest that we've got coming out on Wednesday is the BOJ's report of foreign bond purchases and foreign stocks purchases. Those are both expected to be down, so we'll see how those come out. Moving into Thursday, value of the economic data drops just a touch. We've got the German Consumer Confidence Survey. We've got Swiss industrial production. We've got the U.S. initial jobless claims, which is a weekly number. We've got the U.S. House Price Purchase Index, which is expected to be up 0.4. So a gauge of home prices in the U.S. And then going back to what I mentioned earlier, Philip Lowe from the Royal Bank of Australia is giving his testimony to Parliament. That is similar to what Janet Yellen just did in the U.S. and what Carney will be doing in the U.K. earlier in the week. So a lot of high-level central bank speak happening this week. And then Friday, February 24th, we've got the Canadian Consumer Price Index, both the year over year and the month over month numbers. Both forecast higher. Year over year expected to be 1.6 versus 1.5 in Canada, and month over month expected to be 0.3 versus down 0.2. So we'll see if there's the same kind of fire going on in Canadian consumer prices as there is in U.S. consumer prices. And then we've got U.S. new home sales, and we've got the Baker Hughes rig counts. Last week's Baker Hughes rig count up 10 total wells. 6 of those were crude oil wells, so that's the 5th week in a row, and an increase in the Baker Hughes numbers. So that's it for the economic calendar for the most part. I just want to show you something on this Euro US dollar chart. We talk a lot about closes above and closes below things in our charting. And sometimes when you're using candlestick charts, it's kind of hard to see. So I'm pointing to this actual close above this trend line that we had. Now that's not any sort of trigger for a trade for us because of this little blockage here in this level that Mike has on the chart. But if you're ever wondering when a trend line goes through the body of a candle like this to see if the close is above or below, if that's a trigger for you, if you're going to start to follow the way that we look at these things, you just go up to the top left here and change it to a bar chart. And you can see here the close, which is the little dash to the right of the solid line, is clearly above the trend line. That's just a little trick. I always do that just to make sure, and then I switch right back to the candlesticks. So let me go ahead and turn it over to Mike to now give you the actual price action that he's seeing on the charts.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Let's go over the charts. Euro USD. Let's zoom out real quick first, get a bigger perspective. Really, key levels, we've traded between a bunch of GAN levels last week, and the key levels, they're going to line up really with last week's high and low. So watch for moves above last week's high or below last week's low. We pretty much closed real close to a significant level and right on a GAN level also. So that's the bigger perspective. The rotation zone's still looking down, but starting to flatten out a little. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Here's the daily chart. Again, we reached up. This 106.75 to 80 level is going to be key. If we move above that, watch for the 106.90, followed by the 107.16 levels. Those are the key. If we go lower, especially below this green bar low here of 105.99. So if we get below that, again, which also lines up pretty much with the 105.98 GAN level, watch for a test of the 105.84 and then the 105.52 levels, and then the possible retest of last week's low. That's going to be what you're going to be wanting to look for. Pound did trigger this double top. We got the close we were looking for. Next key levels down, we have a GAN cluster right around the 123.46 level, the 123.50, which had bounced off earlier in the week. Then lower, we have the 122.81, which is where we move our stop down for a double. And that's all within a larger GAN rotation zone, a static rotation zone based off GAN levels between the 123.46 and the 122.57 levels. To take profits longer term is should this double continue to go lower and unfold. The 122.16 is the first level, followed by the 121.51 for the second level. Those are key levels. If we turn a rally up, the levels you're going to be going to watch for are around this 125.26, and if it goes higher than that, the 125.72. Yen, we pretty much closed right on the significant level, 112.79. The significant level is right around 112.80. We also had a 112.85 level, which was the bottom of a key rotation, static GAN rotation zone. Should we continue lower, watch for retests of 112.47, followed by the 111.93, followed by the 111.63. On a move higher, you're going to want to watch 113.24, followed by 113.36, followed by 114.24 level, followed by this key high from last week, which was 114.95. Those are the key levels. If we zoom out to a weekly basis, you can see we're really trading between some significance. This level's becoming significant, a prior target level, so I'm going to make it also magenta. So we're going to watch for this levels of 114.76 as a key level to trade above for the long side, and for the short side, if we stay below this really 112.47 level, and then if we move below this 111.64 level, we also get below this still the rising rotation zone on the weekly basis. Swissy, pretty sharp reaction, which was a trend line redraw reaching up to these targets, the 101.11 level, the 101.02 level. So if we move higher again, watch for us to hit the 100.79 or 80 level, followed by the 101.02 level. We reacted again at the significant level, the 99.70 level, and in the static GAN rotation zone between 99.90 and 99.57. So those are going to be key levels. Should we turn lower, watch for a retest of these orange lines, as I just said, the 99.90 and the 99.57. On a move below that, you have the 99.42, which is also coming in with this rising trend line. So the key levels for that. Aussie, we've been following this on a weekly basis, watching for a close above this key level to trigger a possible horizontal channel breakout. Did not get it again. Did not get a close above the 76.80 level. So nothing to do yet there. Zooming down to the daily, we're back into the rising rotation zone. We failed to reach our target up here. If we continue lower, watch for key support around the 76.25 level. And then if we get below that, then we're going to watch for some levels slightly lower, being watch for a retest of this prior breakout zone around the 75.90 level. So that's what we're watching for. If you do turn higher, again, our higher level is 77.45, followed by 77.86. I've updated some stuff on the US dollar CAD, formed an inside week last week. So the prior week's high of 132.12 and the last week's low of 130.07 are going to be critical. If we break below those, watch for a 129.80, and then if we get below the 129.80, watch for a level around 128.80. If we move higher, we have the horizontal channel retest. Watch for something around 133.03, followed by 133.21 are the next levels higher than the CAD. That's about all I have for you in the weekend wrap-up. Back to you, Bob.
Thank you, Mike. Remember, everybody, Money Path Podcast, new one was released yesterday. Type in the Money Path Podcast into your iTunes search bar or check it out at pathtradingpartners.com. Subscribe to the podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click like on these videos. If you do like them, that'll keep us doing them. And email us at support@pathtradingpartners.com if you want us to talk about something special. Thanks again, everybody, and we will talk to you on Monday. Cheers.